How's it going, everyone? It's Salavi from Weather Swan 5000 Day. It's September 10th, 2021, and today we're going to forecast how much exact snowfall accumulation you should experience in each region in the United States for this winter, as I'll be going even more in depth with how much snow you should receive. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather records. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather records. So to first determine what type of winter we'll see to make even more specific forecast of how many inches of snow you'll receive, we first need to take a look at the ENSO forecast, which really determines what type of winter we'll experience in the United States. And as you can see, the forecast is primarily leaning towards a La Nina occurring, especially towards November, December, and January. However, the chance of a neutral phase does increase as we head later during the winter, but it won't matter much because the La Nina and a neutral phase are pretty similar. They both have a pronounced jet stream dip. They both bring colder than average conditions in the northern United States, and it's primarily dry in the southern United States in both scenarios. However, I'd say in both scenarios we would see a cooler than average winter if we were either in a La Nina or neutral phase. So that's definitely something we need to keep in mind when making this snowfall forecast. Now, taking a look at the snowfall anomaly when it comes to La Nina years, and as you could see that the northern United States typically receives a lot more snowfall than usual during a La Nina phase. We do have some dry spots such as New Mexico and parts of the Southwest in general, and we also even have surprisingly drier spots in the Mid-Atlantic states. However, the difference isn't that large because you see that the browns only represent a 2 to 4 inch deficit when it comes to snowfall compared to, let's say, the 24 to 36 inch departure from average when it comes to snowfall in a lot of these regions in the northern United States. So I wouldn't take the deficit of snowfall so much into consideration because the fact that we see so much more snowfall all across the northern United States, that's so much that where the departure or the anomaly is so much bigger, that really shows that La Nina winter really brings just heavy snowstorms in the northern United States, and we typically should expect a lot more snow than usual in the northern United States as a result of a La Nina. It will also be compounded by the fact that the average temperatures anomalies are lower throughout the northern United States during a La Nina. Pretty much I put all the years that we've experienced a La Nina, which extends all the way from 1955 up until now, and you see that the very strong consensus is that during a La Nina year, we typically see much cooler than average conditions throughout the northern United States. So it's a safe bet to think that we're going to see much more snowfall than average in the northern United States. So make sure to be prepared for any sort of heavy snowstorms that come into your area, and keep in mind that whether there's going to be a more active snowfall year or a less active one, keep in mind all it takes is one snowstorm to cause havoc on the roads and could completely mess up your day. If we see just one snowstorm, it doesn't need to be an above average year to experience a bad snowstorm. I want everyone to keep that in mind. And here's how the La Nina typically looks this is how a La Nina winter typically looks. We of course see the polar jet stream dipping down, and while this graphic doesn't show it, there's a Pacific jet moving through the Pacific Northwest, bringing more moist than average conditions into that region. We also see drier and warmer conditions in the southern United States. However, that won't affect total snowfall in the United States much because, of course, it rarely snows this far south. Maybe outside of, let's say, New Mexico or the higher terrain of Arizona, it rarely snows much of anything in those regions, so it won't make a major effect in terms of my snowfall forecast. However, for the fact that it's a lot colder in the northern United States, that will certainly make an effect in terms of how many inches of snow you should receive for this winter. And another thing I want to also point out is taking a look at the sea surface temperature anomalies, where we do see that just off the United States coast, especially the East Coast, you see the sea surface temperatures are currently much warmer than average. And you might be asking what this means. What this means is that we're more likely to see nor'easters thanks to such a big departure from average when it comes to sea surface temperatures, because one of the defining characteristics of a nor'easter is just strong instability. And when you combine the warmer than average water temperatures with colder than average air, that just creates a lot of unstable air in the atmosphere that could really get nor'easters going and could really bring the heavy snowstorms throughout the Northeast. And who knows, maybe even extending to the Great Lakes, as that's certainly not out of the possibility, especially if it absorbs a lot of the moisture from a warmer than average Gulf of Mexico, if that were to happen. Currently, it's around half cooler than average and half warmer than average, primarily due to Ike moving through the region. However, the fact that the East Coast is currently is experiencing sea surface temperatures warmer than average, as well as the Great Lakes, which is very important, because if the Great Lakes don't freeze, then the chance of lake effect snow drastically increases. So the fact that we're seeing the Great Lakes and the East Coast experience warmer than average sea surface temperatures really could enhance the chance of just a very impactful snowstorm, or just a very major, could bring the possibility of blockbuster snowstorms throughout the Northeast. But now taking a look at my snowfall accumulation forecast for the entire United States, and you see that for a lot of the northern United States, right around in the Northeast, right around the border of Canada, I'm expecting 80 plus inches of snow, which for some areas isn't at all out of the ordinary, such as just to the east of Lake Ontario, where you guys typically receive over 100 inches of snow per year as a result of lake effect snow, and just south of Buffalo as well. However, there are some areas such as Buffalo who don't typically receive over 80 inches of snow, as I'm expecting a little bit above average snowfall for the extreme northern portions of the Northeast, because I think the lake effect snow will be a little bit more impactful this time around as a result of the warmer than average water temperatures in the Great Lakes. And since there's a La Nina, it's also safe to believe that we're going to see colder than average conditions throughout especially the extreme northern portions of the Northeast. So I'd definitely expect more snow than average throughout the interior Northeast. Albany could get is right around the 60 to 80 inch range, which is above average for you guys. And then Boston, New York City, and even as far south as Philadelphia, they're involved in 30 to 40 inches, which for New York City and Philadelphia, that is above average, because the average amount of snowfall you typically receive in New York City is around 25 inches. And in Philadelphia, I think it's around 20 or maybe in the upper teens. I'm not 100% sure, but 30 to 40 inches of snow, or maybe in Philadelphia's case, 20 to 30 inches, I'd say on the upper end, would be an above average winter year for you guys. So I'd prepare for potentially higher than average snowfall in those areas. And then moving further southward, Washington, D.C. could expect 20 to 30 inches, which I think it's definitely above average for Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. typically receives mainly around 10 to 20 inches. And then just south of that, you see that I'm expecting the 1 to 10 inch category to be a little bit further northward than what it typically would be like, because we're going to be in the La Nina, and that typically brings warmer and drier than average conditions to the southern United States. So as a result, I do think the snowfall will be limited in the United States, in the southeastern portion of the United States. So I don't expect that 1 to 10 inch range move further southward than what it is right now. And then going into the Great Lakes, I'm expecting around 30 to 40 inches in and around the Chicago area, and I'm expecting 80 plus inches in the northern Great Lakes, which again isn't very atypical. However, I did put the 80-inch range as well as a 60 to 80-inch range further southward to where it might even impact Flint, Michigan. So you guys need to pay close attention to that. And just to the east of that, I mean to the west of that range, I'm forecasting around 40 to 60 inches of snow. Just to the west of Minneapolis, while Minneapolis is in the 60 to 80 inch range. So this is certainly a lot of snow for you guys and above average for the most part. And of course, in the higher elevations, especially in these regions, I'm expecting over 80 inches of snow, which and more likely than not, over 100 inches of snow should be expected because that's typically what a La Nina brings. Just a lot of moisture in the Pacific Northwest as well as the Rocky Mountain ranges. So make sure to pay close attention to that. And I'd say for the higher elevations in Arizona and Utah, and Nevada, you might experience less than average snowfall because again, a La Nina typically brings those dry conditions for southward, and also you guys are currently in a drought, so it's going to be difficult to get out of. However, for most of the northern United States, just expect a lot of snow for this year. Indianapolis could get 30 to 40 inches, which is well above the average of around 20 inches. Detroit, Michigan could get in the 40 to 60 inch category. So make sure to just pay close attention to this winter as it's going to be very active for a lot of you guys. But anyways, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather calls. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather calls. And I hope you guys have a good day.